So let's talk about Batman again, because it's my show, and if I want to keep talking about Batman, then damn it, I'm going to keep talking about Batman. But honestly, we're not so much talking about the character as much as we are a creator who helped to define Batman during a time of unprecedented popularity and creativity. Perhaps my favorite Batman artist of all time, Norm Breyfogle. There have been hundreds of different artists who have drawn Batman since 1939, many of them leaving a definite mark on their particular era. Since the early 70s, when the Neil Adams style of Batman basically became the house style at DC Comics, artists like Marshall Rogers, Jim Aparo, Alan Davis, and Dick Giordano, and many others all became popular because they would add little touches here and there to their Batman to make them unique enough while still sticking true to the Adams style. This lasted until late 80s when Norm Breyfogle became the main artist on Detective Comics. While most artists would generally stick as close to the Adams style as possible while maybe dipping a toe into their own, Breyfogle definitely had one foot firmly planted in the house style and one foot firmly planted in his own weird way. His layouts were often big and surreal and very dramatic. His actions were always fast and fluid. He was able to make even things like car chases feel exciting and dramatic, and that's something very hard to do in comics. Not many artists can pull that off. He did every single time. The expressions on people's faces were always big. Even for little moments, there was a lot of emotion going on there. And his Batman in particular was unlike anything being drawn at the time. While everyone else was drawing your standard 6'2" man with a dramatic stance, Breyfogle's Batman was more of a shapeshifter, changing form from panel to panel, becoming what he needed to be at that time. Now, Norm Breyfogle drew Batman regularly from 1988 to 1993, and during that time, he had a hand in some major events that would change Batman forever. He was the first artist to draw Tim Drake as Robin and had a hand in many of his early adventures. He was one of the main artists during the beginning of the Nightfall saga. He created classic characters like Anarchy and Mr. Zsasz. He also helped to redefine the look of Gotham City right after Tim Burton's first Batman movie came out. And speaking of that movie, it actually caused a huge surge in popularity in Batman comics. After the film came out, if somebody rushed to go read a Batman comic, it was probably drawn by this guy. For an entire generation of fans, he was their first Batman artist. It's unfortunate that outside of Batman, he really hasn't done any major comic book work. He had work, don't get me wrong. He was part of the new look of Archie, and he had a great run on the Spectre, but other than that, nothing really reached the heights of his Batman era. But he did eventually return to Batman in 2011 to take part in DC's retroactive line, and he was an artist on the relaunch of Batman Beyond. Sadly, that may be the last time he ever draws a mainstream book again. In December of 2014, he suffered a stroke and was paralyzed on the left side of his body. This includes his drawing hand. And while he is recovering, and from what I've read, recovering really well, it's too early to tell if he'll ever draw again, let alone draw Batman. In the meantime, in addition to hoping he gets well and remains healthy, I suggest everybody go out and buy this. DC will put out collections of Batman stories done by particular artists. They've done one for Neil Adams, Jim Aparo, and now they did one for Norm Breyfogle. It's assumed that this was rushed out to help raise money for Norm's medical bills, but honestly, even if he didn't have a stroke, I would have bought this in a heartbeat. To me, Norm Breyfogle is just as important as Bob Kane, Neil Adams, Frank Miller, Jim Lee, anybody. He was there at a time when Batman was more popular than he ever had been. Without Norm Breyfogle, we wouldn't have the character we have today. And as somebody whose first Batman comic was drawn by Norm Breyfogle, to see this book out finally means he's getting the appreciation he rightfully deserves. Now, all we need is a Batman black and white statue in the Norm Breyfogle style, and then we'll be in business. Let me know down below or anywhere on the internet if you're a fan of Norm Breyfogle, if there's any other Batman artists you think are underappreciated and deserve more praise. Like if you like, subscribe if you really like, share this video with a friend. More importantly, buy this book. I'm going to put in a link to it in the description to buy it on Amazon. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you next time. Tony Stark is just as rich, and nobody says he should give up being Iron Man and donate all his money to charity. And yeah, he beats up his share of poor people, but he also beats up a lot of rich people. And supervillains.
And Assassin's Creed, I really like Assassin's Creed. I liked Assassin's Creed 1 was terrible. It's a bad game.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 2, awesome. Amazing game.
Then they
Assassin's
made that
Creed
Brotherhood and Revelations of Assassin's Creed 2 again and again.
Yes.